Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to be amazed by magic, mystery, and enchantment. Our next presenter is a legendary showman who's won more than 20 Emmy Awards. He performed all over the world and is considered the greatest code illusionist of our time. He squashed the first ever computer bug, designed Apple's logo, and using his telekinesis powers, he influenced Alan Turing to create the first ever Turing machine, which was originally a coffee maker. He started the first tabs versus spaces argument and introduced the unsubscribe method into RxJS. No, it wasn't a pull request. He doesn't do pull requests. He only does push demands. Today, ladies and gentlemen, he is going to blow your mind. Please give it up for the magnificent Shairezniko.
Thank you, and welcome to the Magnificent Shairezniko show. And today, you are about to experience magic. Wow, magic. And now, I will need a volunteer from the audience. You, come to the stage. Hello,
Hi,
what is your name?
Bonnie.
And what do you do for a living, Bonnie?
Well, I'm a software developer.
Oh, that's nice. And tell me, Bonnie, do we know each other?
No, we definitely do not know each other.
Good. So, I want you to concentrate real hard and think about the problem you're currently facing at work.
Well, yeah. Now that I think about it, how did you... We do have a big issue in our project.
Let me guess. I can see something about a library called Moment.js, which handles dates and times.
Wow.
And your app depends on this library, but you want to replace it with another library called date functions.
That's amazing. How did you do that?
I have special powers. Now tell me, how many parts of the app depend on Moment.js?
A lot. And we also have like 1,000 tests running.
And you don't want to break all these tests, and also don't want to break your app when you replace it to date functions.
Exactly.
Okay, so prepare to be amazed. It's now time for more magic. My shirt is white. Now, let's go dive into your code. Oh, such a long file. All the functions are manipulating dates. And yes, there are a lot of Moment.js reference here. You import it and you are using it in each function. Mamma mia! And as you said, you have 1,020 tests running. That's a lot. Okay, now watch as I delete all the contents in this file.
Oh my god.
And by using my special snippet abilities, I'll replace all the Moment.js references with functions from the new library, date functions. I'm importing every function from date functions, as you can see here, and I'm using it inside of the file. As you can see, there is no trace left of Moment.js. And now for the grand ending. I'm going to save the code and let the tests run again. All the tests are still passing. Magic.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I can't believe it!
And I didn't even change a single test in the process.
Wow! How did you do that?
Magic. Okay, you can go back to your seat now.
But what about the money?
Never mind that now. Let me continue with the show.
Okay. Stop the show. Okay? Stop everyone.
What? Wait, who are you?
I'm Shairezniko, the founder of HiRez.io and testangular.com, the best places on the web to learn Angular and testing. And not a lot of people know this about me, but I'm also a professional mythbuster, exposing frauds like this magician here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. My job today is to reveal how this magic trick works and to show you, the audience, how there isn't really any magic going on here.
How dare you? I was born with these powers.
Oh, really? Let's see. So, the magician started with an app dependent on Moment.js. And supposedly, many parts of this app depended on Moment.js. Then he continued to delete the code and replaced it with references to date functions, and everything just worked. But now, let's see what really happened behind the scenes. In fact, there weren't so many parts of the app depending directly on Moment.js, but instead, they depended on some other thing in the middle, a mysterious class, which in turn depended on Moment.js. This mysterious class is actually an abstraction, also called an adapter. In short, an adapter is an object that connects two incompatible interfaces or APIs together, just like a power supply adapter. It's a design pattern that helps decoupling your app from external libraries, and it serves as a middleman between your code and the library code. The magician also followed the best practices and didn't name it something specific like moment adapter or something like that, but instead named it something more generic like time manager, to avoid tying it to any specific library. If we go behind the scenes to the code itself, pay attention to the file that was being changed, time manager. This is the adapter. It depends on date functions, and the other files in the system depend on this adapter, like this discount service, for example. Here we can see it injects the time manager service and it uses its method. Okay, so the rest of the system depends on this adapter and not the actual date functions. And that, my friends, is how you can magically replace one library with another without breaking anything along the way. Magic debunked.
You think you so smart, huh? So tell me this. How are the tests still passing? You saw I changed the code completely from moment to date functions. Shouldn't the test fail?
So let's clear out the mystery behind that as well, shall we?
Mamma mia.
So the trick behind making the test pass, although an entire library was replaced, is to test the adapter using a special kind of test called an external integration test.
What the hell is that?
Well, let me explain. You probably heard about the terms unit tests and integration tests, right?
Right.
So, to be honest, I don't think these terms describe tests in an ideal way. I personally like to separate tests into three different aspects: scope, boundaries, and subject.
What are those?
Well, I don't have time to dive deep into all three of them right now, so as a side note, if you want to learn more thoroughly about them, you can check out my free workshop on the topic over at this link. Tell Shai I sent you. So we won't dive deep into all three of them, but one of these three is actually relevant for this explanation, and it is boundaries, or whether a test is considered isolated or integrated. In an integrated or integration test, we test two or more things together, for example, classes. In an isolated test, we test just one class by faking all of its dependencies. You might also know it as mocking, though the more accurate name is faking. And with the help of mocking or faking, we are isolating the class from its dependencies.
As if they were infected by a virus.
Yeah.
Too soon? Too soon?
Anyway, so while most of your tests should be isolated tests, your adapter tests shouldn't be isolated at all. They should be integrated tests, meaning you shouldn't fake or mock the external library your adapter is using, but instead test the adapter with the real instance of the library. And by that you're testing the integration between the adapter and the external library. And that, my friends, is what I call an external integration test. Now, let's take a look at what the magician did. As you can see, if I open the test file for the time manager adapter, there aren't any reference to either moment or date functions in this spec file. Because the adapter is usually just a thin abstraction layer, the magician only instantiates it and then tests it just like any other test. The integration test doesn't really care about what you're using behind the scenes. As long as you're returning the expected output for a certain input, your test will pass, and you could sleep better at night knowing you didn't break the entire app. And now this magic is fully debunked. Okay. Touché. But now, can you please go back to your seats and let me continue with the show? Go on. Go. Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, now starts the real magic. Look, I don't have anything in my sleeves. But watch this. And for my next amazing trick, I will need another volunteer from the audience. You?
Who, me?
Yeah? Come to the stage. What is your name?
Sally.
And tell me, Sally, have we met before?
No.
Good. Now, pick a number.
4.
Your number is 4.
Wow. Amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, something tells me, Sally, that you too have a problem with your code.
Oh.
I can see something related to HTTP.
Oh my. How did you know that? Yeah, I suffer a lot when testing Angular's HTTP service.
Worry not, old lady.
But I'm not old.
Let's check out your code and see how with my magical powers I will make you enjoy your tests again. On the right, we can see the product remote service. It has just one line of code, getting the products using the HTTP client service. Now I reveal what's behind the curtain on the left. This is the product remote test file. And it is using the HTTP testing module and the HTTP testing controller directly from Angular.
Yes, and here is the problem. In the test itself.
Yes, I can see that. For one simple line of code, there is so much setup you need to do. Expecting one call to products, verifying that the get method was called, then flashing the result, and in the end verifying that nothing is left in the queue. All this testing code for just one line? What a waste! And I'm guessing this happens every time you need to test with HTTP.
Yes.
I hear ya, old lady.
I'm not old.
Now, prepare for a mind-blowing experience. Abracadabra. Minko, Mishko, Rikaba. Now,
See the magic happening on the screen.
Oh my!
With this new magical code, you only have to write one line of setup code, and you don't have to deal ever again with this hard to mock HTTP code.
Oh, you're my hero!
Oh, I'm just a simple magician with an incredible talent. Hey. Oh, come on, man!
You're kidding, right?
What?
First of all, I can see that this is not an old lady.
But I'm not supposed to be old.
And second, you're using the same trick again. Adapters.
No, I didn't.
Oh, really? Let's look at the code again.
Okay, I need to go to the toilet real quick.
Oh, no. You stay right here and watch how I expose your secrets again.
So first of all, if we scroll to the top of the new test, we can see that instead of importing the HTTP testing module, the magician is faking a new thing called remote service. And he's using the library I created, jasmin-auto-spies, to do that. Nice! On the right side in the new implementation, instead of using the HTTP service, the magician replaced it with this new remote service as well. Now let's take a look at how this remote service is implemented behind the scenes. Oh, what a surprise! Does it look familiar? Well, I bet it does, because this is another adapter. It hides the HTTP client behind it and exposes a more generic abstraction instead. Okay, let's close it, go back to the test. So the truth behind the magic here is that it's much easier to fake the adapter than the HTTP client service or any other hard to mock service or dependency. In this case, the magician only needed one line of code to configure the mock, next one time with, which comes from the jasmin-auto-spies library. Basically, this line tells the test double to return an observable with this value, and then to complete. And that's basically it, which makes the whole thing much easier.
And just like that, another magic is debunked.
It's not fair. You're ruining my show.
I'm just telling the truth.
Please, stay away from me, please. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's continue with the show. This will be the last magic trick I will do today, and the greatest magic of them all. Okay, old lady, you can go now.
I'm not old!
Okay, for this last magic trick, I will need another volunteer from the audience.
Wait, is this another magic that's based on adapters?
Damn it! How did you know? Okay, I cannot work in these conditions. I am leaving.
Well, that was awkward.
Shy?
Yes, Bonnie?
Hey, how did you know it was me?
I have magic powers.
I have a question.
Ask away.
I'm not really used to writing adapters. What can I do to make it a habit?
Great question.
What helps me is to follow the don't mock what you don't own rule. This rule comes from the book Growing Object-Oriented Software Guided by Test, or GOOSE, and it simply says that when writing a test where one of your dependencies is an external library, don't fake it or mock it. Instead, wrap it with an adapter and fake the adapter instead. Then, write an integration test for that adapter. Sounds familiar?
Yes, but I still don't understand. Should I duplicate all the methods of the external library?
No, Bonnie, but that's a valid question as well. Basically, you only need to wrap the method that you're actually using in your test.
For example, in the time manager case, the adapter only implemented 5 methods that are required by the app, although the library probably has dozens of methods we can use. This is another hidden benefit of adapters, reducing the large API surface area of external libraries to the minimum.
Wow! But how will I know which methods to implement in advance?
Well, you won't. And the thing is to discover that while you're writing your test and to only add the method you will actually need. By the way, this can be achieved easily when practicing TDD, or test-driven development, where you write tests before the production code. And that's actually where the rule "don't mock what you don't own" comes from, because Goose is about TDD.
How come?
Well, I don't have time to go deep into that as well, but in short, when you write the test first, you have a chance to plan out not only how your class will look like, but also how its dependencies will look like as well, which parameters they'll receive, and what output you expect from them. So you're using mocks and test doubles as a code design tool rather than just a testing tool. This makes sense for code you can control or change, but now you might see how for external libraries it's pretty useless as a code design tool because you cannot change their API. That's why an adapter gives you the ability to decide what's the most minimal and convenient API your class should use, without forcing it to be tightly coupled to any specific library API. And this is another way to look at adapters and their mocks, as a code design tool.
But what if I don't write in TDD style?
That's not a problem. You can still follow this rule when you're writing the test right after you finish writing your production code. But don't wait too long, because then you'll lose all the benefits of adapters.
Okay, I think I got it.
Just to be sure, let me summarize it for you. So we learned about the don't mock what you don't own rule, and how no matter if you're writing the test before or after the production code, whenever you find yourself mocking an external library, you need to stop and think, maybe I need an adapter here? Adapters connect two mismatching interfaces and can be used to abstract away an external library. You test adapters by writing an external integration test that doesn't fake the external library but uses the real one. The benefits of adapters are easier future changes, like changing libraries or even upgrading major versions with breaking changes. As long as the integration test passes, you're good to go. Easier mocking of hard-to-mock objects. It minimizes the API surface area of external libraries, and it can be used as a code design tool for the outer layers of your app. And one bonus fact, using adapters can help you even if you're not testing your code at all. So it is for everyone. And that was the summary. And like I said, there's a lot to be learned, so if you want to further deepen your testing knowledge, check out my free workshop about it at the following link. And now, are you ready for the greatest magic of them all? It was me all the time! There is no Shairezniko! Ha 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 ha! Thank you, and have a great rest of the conference! Thank you. Thank you. Join the workshop.